Thank you for tuning in to the BIRNN Community Chronicles, the Blue Island and Robbins Neighborhood Network. This is a show about you. We bring together community members, leaders, and organizations to drive the change you want to see in Blue Island and Robbins. Now, here's your host, Program Manager for the BIRNN, Ken Benson.
Good evening and welcome to the BIRNN Chronicles, the radio show of the Blue Island Robbins Neighborhood Network. Once again, we have a wonderful guest with us this evening. It is my little big sister, but she is a wonderful partner who brings great resources to the community. Dr. Ruby Powell has joined us this evening. So it's going to be a great conversation between us. I know her very well, but I assure you by the time this show is over, you will know about her and all of the great and wonderful things that she does in community and how you can get her to help you do some of these things as well. So I want to introduce Dr. Ruby Powell. Let's tell the viewers and our listeners a little bit about yourself and some of the what brought you to social services, and then we'll just go on having this conversation.
Well, that is a great conversation because I kind of fell into social service.
Okay.
When I first went to college, I went to college as an engineering major.
Wonderful.
And changed my major halfway through due to some other stuff, and became a liberal arts major. Okay. Well, in 1988, I was between careers, had not started my formal career yet, and a friend of mine, and I was in search of a job, quite frankly.
Okay.
And a friend of mine said, well, my agency is hiring. And I said, well, what do you guys do? And she said, well, we're a foster care agency.
Okay.
Now, full transparency, I knew absolutely nothing about child welfare.
Okay.
Nothing whatsoever. I had no conception of child abuse or any of those things because that just wasn't, that wasn't part of my growing up.
Right.
And so I went for the interview and I had to ask a lot of questions because I knew absolutely nothing about what they did.
All right.
And ironically, in February of 1988, my social service career began.
Wow. Okay.
And so I was hired on the spot. I started the next week, which was really good.
Okay.
Because like I said, I was in search of a job. And so I have been in social services ever since in various capacities.
So people need to know that you are not a novice. You are not new to this. You have invested many years of your life into social services. Wow.
Years.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
so you know a little bit about what you're talking about.
I know just a little bit about what I'm talking about.
All right.
I have invested a lot of years in working in social services,
Okay.
child welfare.
Okay.
I've worked in mental health.
Okay.
I do a lot in mental health.
Wonderful.
I've also worked for the Department of Human Services.
Okay.
I've done a lot of different things.
Wow.
I am what could be considered a jack of all trades.
Okay.
I won't say that I'm the master of
none.
No,
you are a master of
because
many.
I set out to master everything I put my hand to.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And I the one thing that I know about you and our listeners tonight will have an opportunity to know is that you are one of those people who want to give back.
Yes.
Everything that you have learned, you are no stranger to like, I want to make sure that I give this back. So tell our listeners and tell our viewers tonight about Dr. Ruby Powell and what you do and all of the great and wonderful things. And this may be a little bit, we may have to do part 2 of this show to get everything out, but we're going to start with part 1. So tell our listeners about some of the things that you are doing and just to be a blessing to the community and service to the community.
Absolutely. Well, August 31st of 2016, I left working for the state after over 25, almost 30 years.
Okay.
Being in administration with the state. I left that full-time work because I just felt that there was more to do.
Okay.
And so in 2009, I started an organization called the Oasis Empowerment Zone.
Okay.
And that work was started primarily because I worked with so many marginalized women who had just given up on life, given up on their dreams, given up on just being a viable citizen of the community because they had had children out of wedlock.
Right.
And that had also been my story of having a child out of wedlock.
Okay.
But that happened right in the middle of my master's program.
All right.
While I was working for the state and all of those things. And so as I was working with these women, I would always hear, well, I'm raising my kid, I'm getting a check, and the daddy is not around, and all of those things. And I heard that one too many times. And I said, I've got to help instill some hope in these women.
All right.
I have to show them that there's still a way to live your dream, even though you've had a hiccup.
Okay.
Even though you've had a pothole, a bump in the road, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
It happened.
Right.
And so you can continue to go on and continue to do what it is that you want to do, even though you have additional responsibilities.
Right.
And so I became kind of known as the I Can coach.
Okay.
Because I just realized that if we take the T off of can't, it becomes can.
Absolutely.
And so I would always tell these ladies, don't say what you can't do.
Right.
If you want to be honest with yourself and say, I'm not willing to put in the hard work, then be honest with yourself.
Absolutely.
And sit where you sit.
Yeah.
But if you want to put in the hard work, you can turn your can't into can.
Let me ask you this question, because you said this keyword, you said coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I really want you to explain to the people tonight what that means. I think when we hear the word coach, we think, oh, this is a sports team and this is somebody that's coaching the team. And the concepts may be similar, but in the way that you use the word coach, you said you are I Can coach.
Yes.
Can you tell them what that means? I don't want them to miss the nuggets that we are going to share this evening. So
absolutely. Well, I am a certified empowerment life coach.
Okay.
And so a coach, first of all, is someone who takes you from where you are right now to where you want to go.
All right.
So you work through the processes of right now, this is what I'm doing. But I have some ideas about where I want to go and what I want to do.
Okay.
I just don't know how to get there.
Right.
So that's what the coach does.
Okay.
And so the empowerment part, or the I Can part of that, is helping primarily women to overcome limiting beliefs of I can't because.
Okay.
I'm not doing this because.
All right.
And saying, okay, let's eliminate that barrier so that you can get from right here in the stuck place to where you want to be.
Wow.
Let's
Wonderful.
walk through those processes.
Wonderful.
Not to say that other hiccups won't come.
Right.
Because they will.
Absolutely.
But it's just another hurdle to jump over. And so the coach just basically helps those women, and it can be women, it can be men, it can be anybody.
Okay.
But in my case, I work primarily with women.
Okay.
I work with a lot of professional women.
All right.
And that kind of leads me from where I started with the Oasis Empowerment Zone, which is an organization that I started in December of 2009 to help primarily low-income single mothers to achieve self-sufficiency.
Okay.
And I've done that in a number of different ways.
Okay.
I've offered different types of programs based on what they need.
Okay. Share some of those programs with us this evening.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I do deliver some direct services. I do life coaching, business coaching.
Okay.
I also have what we call the Single Moms Hub, which is a support group for single moms.
Okay.
Where we come together by Zoom a couple of times a month and we just talk about all things single moms. And that kind of started as a result of where I really started the Oasis.
Okay.
I started the Oasis on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Central Time back in the day with a conference call.
All right. That's been back in the day for sure.
That was back in the day. That's when the free conference call.
Right.
Yes. And I honestly still have that same free conference call number.
Wow. Okay.
And we would get together on Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. Why 9 o'clock Central Standard Time? Because by 9 o'clock, everybody's baby should be in the bed.
That's right. You would hope.
Yes. And so we talked about all things single moms, the barriers. We talked about the joys. We talked about all stuff that happened. So the Single Moms Hub kind of came out of that, and we just brought it up to the 21st century.
Okay.
And now we do it by Zoom.
Okay.
Every now and again, we have live in-person events here in the Chicagoland area.
Wonderful.
And so we're revamping our workforce development program.
Wonderful. Very needed in our community.
Very needed, because how can we take women from poverty to self-sufficiency if we can't put them in a viable place of employment?
I agree 100%. Yeah.
So we're in the process of revamping and forming some new partnerships with that.
Okay.
And we also have a program called the Generational Wealth Business Incubator.
Okay.
And the GWBI for short.
GWBI. All
GWBI.
Right. All right.
And it's a program where we teach mothers who want to start businesses how to start businesses from conception to completion.
Wow.
So we start them out just talking about mindset.
Wow.
How do you change your mindset from I've gotten this check once a month for the last how many years to wow, I'm a business owner.
Right.
And I really work. And
Wow.
I really do some work that's important. And I'm providing either a service, a product, or something to people in need.
Wonderful.
And so we take them from that mindset all the way to I'm actually up and running.
Wow. Wonderful.
And so
wonderful.
it's a 5-month program. And we finished our first cohort of that back in May.
Okay.
And, you know, I kind of did it as a pilot initially. It was great. The women that were involved achieved great successes, but you know, I'm a little bit of a perfectionist.
Okay.
I wanted more.
Nothing wrong with that.
So I've completely revamped the curriculum.
Okay.
To make it even bigger and better.
Wow. I don't want them to miss that nugget. So it's a 5 months program. So I'm listening this evening. I'm a woman. You know what? And the one thing I know, because you've done a boot camp for us, that you know, we had people from various stages in the room. So just some people like, I have the thought of this business. This is something that I want to do. Yeah. So how am I eligible to do that? Should I have a business already off ground? Should I be incorporated? Should I have my 501c3? Can I come with just the thought and the dream?
Yep.
So how do we get involved in that?
Yes. And I had people in our last cohort in that very same place.
Okay.
One person said, well, you know, I thought about doing this and you know, I don't know where to start.
Wow.
We started right there.
Wow.
With the
Wonderful.
thought.
Wonderful.
We had one person who had previously been incorporated,
okay,
who already had a product line, but never launched fully. We started right there.
Wow. Okay.
And so they are both, there were 2 people that ended up in the program when all was said and done, who stuck it out.
Wow.
And they are both doing very, very well.
Fantastic.
And so that, you know, that's kind of something that I'm proud of.
All right. That's that nugget. So now I'm listening. I'm energetic. I'm excited. How do I get in touch with you so that I can get in that GWBI program?
Yes. Well, you know what? You can get in touch with me. I have a few different numbers, and
give them to us. We'll take them all.
Yes, I do several different things.
Okay.
So, and I'm going to talk about some of the other things that I do as well. So they can reach me by calling 855 627-4748.
All right.
And that number actually equates to 855 OASIS for you.
OASIS for you. All right. All right.
Number 4 you, or the letter U.
Okay.
So 855-627-4748, or they can email me. It's probably better to call me or text me, but they can also email me at rpowell@oasisempowermentzone.com.
Sounds good. Can you repeat that one more time?
Yes, rpowell@oasisempowermentzone.com.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right. Or they can also go to my website, which is
the website,
www.oasisempowermentzone.com.
One more time for the folks.
Yes. One more time, www.oasisempowermentzone.com.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So just give them, I want to make sure that, so we got the phone number. Some people are callers. Me, I happen to be an emailer. So give us the email address, and then you could just spell out your name just to make sure that people know that the right spelling of your name, so that they won't feel discouraged because they sent the email to the wrong person.
To the wrong person, right. Absolutely. Ironically, I was doing something the other day and I typed my own email wrong. So
right.
You're absolutely right. It's R Powell, and Powell is Powell, the letter R, which stands for Ruby, Powell, Powell, at OASISEMPOWERMENTZONE.com. I know it's long.
Hey, that's all right. That's all right. There's gonna be some great things that come from going to that website and sending that email. All right. Yes. So let's hear some more about some of these other wonderful things that you were doing. Absolutely. And I'm always, when I hear that nugget, I'm gonna stop, say, all right, now you guys listen, because this is something that will be useful to you. So come on, tell us some more about some of the other wonderful things that you're doing.
I can be considered a serial entrepreneur.
Okay.
So during the pandemic, I started another business. and that's Dr. Ruby E. Powell and Associates, in which I also provide life coaching and business coaching to primarily professional women.
Okay.
And this program, I have a couple of different programs. I have a brief counseling program, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. And then I also have a coaching program. And as I said before, the coaching takes you from where you are right now to where you want to go. But as I was planning this program and developing this program, I realized some of the reasons why some women kind of get stuck where they are is because they also have stuff in the past
that's right.
that creates limiting beliefs that cause them to say, yeah, I want to do this, but I'm kind of stuck right here. And so I developed this brief counseling program because I do have a master's in counseling. I'm a certified coach. I keep saying certified coach, but I'm also a licensed counselor. And so I'm qualified to provide counseling.
You ain't just wake up one day and decide this is something that you want to do. Okay.
Yeah, I wish that was the case. I have a real degree in counseling.
Okay. Good for the folks to know.
Right. And so I developed a counseling program to help them to deal with the stuck stuff. To deal with the counseling. The purpose of counseling is to deal with where you came from to where you are.
All right.
Trauma past. Issues in the past, issues with whatever it is that caused you to get there and say, you know what, I'm done. I'm out. And so you never get to where you dream to be or where you're destined to be because you stay stuck right there. And so that program, Dr. Ruby E. Powell and Associates, was primarily developed for professional women who want to go to the next level in their career, whether it's promotions to higher positions, whether it's I'm a CEO of a company, but I know there's more. There's also women out there that are stuck in entry-level positions, but have not only aspirations to do something more, have the qualifications, but don't necessarily have the confidence to step up and step out. So I help those women either through my counseling program or through my coaching program. And ideally, the counseling program helped those women to deal with their past so that they can jump into the coaching program and go to their destined future.
Wow, that is so wonderful. And I think if people are listening this evening, you're working with women from all walks of life. So it's just not low income women or women in underserved communities, but those professional women who are dealing with that awful conjunction of but. So that is a wonderful program. So tell us a little bit more. I know you got a couple of more things that you have done. What did you say?
A serial
entrepreneur. I got to remember that word. Okay.
Well, right now I'm actually operating 4 different businesses.
All right.
And so it keeps me busy.
I can only imagine. Wow.
Absolutely. Wow. So with Dr. Ruby E. Powell and Associates, you can also get in contact with me by that same phone number, 855-627-4748.
Sounds good.
That's, kind of my business number for all things social services.
Okay. Wonderful.
And so, and then the website for that is just www.rubyepowell.com.
Okay. www.rubyepowell.com. Okay.
Got you. Powell.
Got you.
Yes.
All right, let's go. Keep going.
All right, keep going.
Get into these businesses that you're doing. Then after you get it all out there, I have some wonderful questions for you because I know that there are people who are listening and say, wow, if she could do it, I know that I could do it.
Absolutely.
And we want to get them past those barriers that they're facing in life. Like, oh, I don't have enough time, or I don't have enough money, or I don't have enough education. But there are things that you can do to get beyond those barriers and become just live your dream. That thing that you've been dreaming of all your entire life, it can actually come to fruition. So finish it with those businesses. And then I want you to give some coaching to some of our listeners tonight.
Well, you know what? Let me say this. Your ability to do what it is that you want to do all comes from not only your desire, but your willingness to work hard to do it.
All right, nugget right there.
So let me just say that. If you're not willing to work hard, then you don't want.
Right.
You don't want your destined future.
Right.
And so the other organization or the other business that my family and I operated, as you can see, I don't know if you can see the logo on my shirt, but we actually operate a nonprofit performing arts center.
Wow, now that's wonderful. That is wonderful.
In Lansing, Illinois.
Okay.
And we offer all things performing arts. We offer let me read them off the card here. We offer vocal lessons. My husband is a master vocal instructor.
Wow. Okay.
He has been teaching voice lessons for well over 30 years.
Wonderful.
He is the original Love That Chicken from Popeye's man.
Oh, really?
And so he has done, in the course of his life, he's done over 500 jingles that you've probably heard year after year and just didn't know it was him.
Now, let me ask you this question. Can I come and get some coaching and go on American Idol and
Absolutely.
win? All right. Well, that's...
You know what? Ironically, he has had students on The Voice.
Really?
He's had students on American Idol.
Wow.
He's had on, as a matter of fact, I think he even had somebody on America's Got Talent.
All right. All right.
So he's done coaching. He's done coaching he did a coaching session with Michael Jackson way back in the day.
Wonderful.
And he was actually pulled because he was in studio doing a jingle, and I guess I don't really know the whole story about how he ended up coaching Michael Jackson for 10 days, but it was when he was doing the Thriller video.
Okay.
And he was having some challenges because he had recently had some work done in his nose and all of that good stuff. And he wasn't able to hit his highs.
Right.
And so he was called in to coach him for 10 days.
Wow. That's a wonderful story.
Yeah. So, so the Lansing Performing Arts Center, we also offer keyboard, piano lessons. We offer guitar lessons, drum lessons, woodwind lessons, all of the instruments. Also at our center, we do have a sound stage where people rent out the sound stage to do shows and do performances and those types of things.
Wonderful.
We have a 24-track recording studio for people with a whisper room. And what a whisper room is a soundproof room where the singer goes in and they sing their heart out and nobody outside other than the producer on the other side of the window.
I need one of those in my house so that you know.
And so our student base right now, our youngest student is 4 years old.
Okay.
Our oldest student is 81 years old.
Wow,
so
wonderful.
We work with every age. And my husband's theory is anybody can sing.
I was going to ask you, do you have to have any level of experience, or can you just say, I am 5 years old and I want to learn how to play the violin so I can come and get lessons?
Yes.
That is so fantastic.
You absolutely do. My husband teaches a lot of the classes, but we do have a violinist on contract who comes in and teach violin students. Wonderful. We have a drum teacher. We have a drum teacher who also teaches beginning piano.
Wow.
So and then we have some guitar teachers as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
now, where is this Performing Arts Center? Tell us how we can get in touch with you so we can enroll our children. Yes. Where it's located, give us the address, give us all of the information so that we can make sure if you are listening this evening, you better get your kids over there, get yourself over there. She said 81, so you are never too old to go and learn. So,
and that's just the ages that we have now.
Okay.
So you can be older than that and still learn some things.
Sounds good.
The Lansing Performing Arts Center is located in downtown Lansing at 3404 Lake Street.
Okay.
And for anybody that's familiar with the Lansing area, it's right across the street from Fox Point Amphitheater.
All right.
And so our building is a very historic building. We've had our building used to be the municipal building for Lansing. And so in our auditorium, there's doors, there's the garage doors where the fire trucks used to come in and the ambulances used to come in.
Wonderful.
And so all of that's been revamped. We still have the original jail cells.
Wow.
Where they would bring in the criminals. And I said, they must have only arrested skinny people because the beds are like this big.
I wasn't gonna come visit once you said jail cells, but now since you said only skinny people, I'm gonna come on visit.
Come on visit.
They're gonna fit me in there. So.
Right. We also have the original gun safe because everything municipal was in that building.
Wow.
The water department, the courthouse was upstairs.
Wow.
The police department was on one side. all of the stuff. So our building is a historic building, but that's where we are at 3404 Lake Street in Lansing, Illinois. And we're always running a promotion.
Okay.
So if a person decides, you know what, I want to try my hand at this, I want to see what I can do, we will offer you a free lesson just to see where your interest lies.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful.
And so,
is there any specific times of enrollment, or is it any time you accepting students at all times?
We have open enrollment, rolling enrollment.
Okay.
The only thing that we ask that if a person does sign up for our services, that they commit to at least 3 months.
Okay.
And the reason why we say 3 months is because it takes time to show progress.
Right.
And so it can't be necessarily about money, because our rates are lower than the lowest.
All right.
And that's why we're a nonprofit organization, because we don't ever want anybody to feel that they can't live their dream just because of money.
Right.
And so we're in the process of looking for grants and foundation funding so that we can offer some of our services for free as well.
And I'm glad you said that, because that was going to be my next question, because we all know in social services that as great as our hearts are and as willing as our bodies are, it takes money to do the things that we do. So if I'm listening this evening and I want to be able to support what you're doing, or just volunteer, get out and just give my skill. And how do I go about that? What is that process in order to be involved with anything that you may be doing? But I'm kind of now stuck on the Performing Arts Center because I just, I love the idea of young people learning to do something that could actually be a career for them for the rest of their lives. So,
absolutely. Yeah. They can actually just get in contact with me. I'm the Director of Operations, Ruby Powell. And the phone number for that is 708-374-7016.
Okay.
Again, 708-374-7016. Or they can go to our website, which is www.lansingpacperformingartscenter.org. And they can fill out a contact card, or we also have, and you can get this information later, but we do have a QR code that you can hit and fill out that form. But you can also get that information on our website. Just fill out the form, and within 24 hours, myself or one of our staff people will get back in contact with you to schedule your free lesson.
Wonderful. Now, I think that's 3. Now, I believe there's one more. Come on.
There's one more.
Let's get to the 4th now.
Well, my husband and I are also certified marriage and family counselors and coaches.
Okay.
So we do provide premarital counseling. We provide marital counseling, as well as we do rescue care. For
wonderful.
ICU rescue care for marriages that are in crisis.
Got it.
So
go a little bit deeper into that. Like, we want people to understand when you say crisis and you say rescue, what does that mean?
Well, what do you go to ICU for? It's an intensive care unit. And so if marriages are on the brink and communication is an issue and all of the stuff that causes marriages to break down, we help to repair those things. We help husbands and wives to look to develop intimacy. And let me say, intimacy doesn't necessarily have to be sexual intimacy.
Don't have to be the physical.
It doesn't have to be the physical. Intimacy basically means into me, see. We help husbands and wives see into each other and help them to connect those things that may have been disconnected.
Wonderful.
There's something about coming to the altar and saying I do.
Right.
Sometimes we say I do to things that we don't.
Absolutely.
And so just because you said I do is not, or when you discover that I don't, it doesn't mean that it's a deal breaker. It means that I need to see how we can fit this in and make those connections that were disconnected reconnect.
Wow, wonderful.
And so it's a lot of times it's a matter of us deciding, making a decision that, hey, I didn't know about this at first, but I love you and I want to be with you. So how can we work this out? And oftentimes, interestingly, oftentimes it ends up with the wife saying, you know what, I need some more counseling. I need some individual counseling because I'm dealing with some stuff. Or I've had some stuff that I brought into the marriage that unfairly got dumped on my husband. Or the husband saying, I brought some stuff into the marriage that, I shouldn't have, and it's impacting our ability to stay connected.
Right.
And so, my husband offers individual counseling with the husbands. I offer individual counselings with the wife if that's necessary.
And just like anything else in life, it's a process.
Yes.
If you really want it, you got to work the process. You got to trust the process, and you have to work through it. So
yes, you do.
The one thing, and I want to go back to just the work that you do for young women, and especially women who are like maybe unmarried or just trying to figure it out. Just like and we see this so much in our communities. I was in a relationship. Unfortunately or fortunately, of course, it's a blessing. I had a child, but he walked away, and so now I have to learn how to survive. And so, what kind of tools or what kind of insight would you give to that young woman that's listening tonight?
Yeah.
First of all, don't give up. And
Yes.
all's not lost. Of
Yes.
course, we want to say that, but what other tools would you give? Just some free tools that we can just give tonight for somebody that's listening that may help them take that next step that they need to take in order to feel secure and feel like they're on the right track.
Yeah, that's really such a great question. Well, the first tool that I want to offer to women is to, like you said, don't give up. Realize that even in the times when you said, I can't, I won't, all of those other things, that there is still a can in there.
All right.
That's the first thing I want to offer. You have to make the decision to believe in yourself.
Right.
Because nobody can live your life for you.
That's true.
And people will come along with a lot of opinions. People will come along with a lot of ideas. People will come along with a lot of suggestions. But those things may not necessarily suit you.
Right.
You have to know you.
True. So true.
And part of what I do in working with women is helping them to understand who they really are.
Right. No.
And that's really important. A lot of this came out of not just me having a master's degree in counseling. A lot of it came out of the healing work that I had to do from my own trauma past.
Right.
I couldn't have gotten to where I am now. And let me just say, the healing process doesn't end. I still have things that I have to work through because new situations come up.
I'm so glad that you said that. I know that is so true. And people need to understand that. And the one thing that you said that I think is crucial is that you have to learn yourself. But once you learn yourself, you can't be afraid or disappointed in what you see.
Ooh.
And know that you can change. There are ways for you to change and walk this different path. But most times I realized just in my journey in social services that when you look at yourself, if you're truthful with yourself,
yes,
there are going to be some things you see that you may not like. And so you have to start working to improve and change those things.
Yes.
But just like you said, I can. You have to have that I can spirit, that I can faith to be able to continue to walk and actually change your life. One question I have for you is that, you are open. Now I'm gonna dig into your business just a little bit.
I'm transparent.
All right. That's that. And as a coach, right. As a coach, that's what people would appreciate about you, of course. But you've had this journey. And so can you talk about something that's relative to the women who may be listening tonight of whatever age, your journey, some obstacles, some barriers that you may have come across, and how did you overcome those things to get to a place where you felt comfortable and you feel like, okay, you know what, I think I've mastered this thing and now I can feel comfortable moving on to that next thing?
Well, let me say, I never get to a point of saying that I've mastered it.
Okay.
I get to a point of saying that I've accomplished some things.
Got it.
And now I'm on to the next journey.
Okay.
And I know that this is not a religious or spiritual program.
Right.
However, a lot of what I've accomplished because of my faith.
Okay.
And so having become a single mom, as I've been in church all my life.
Okay.
And at the time that I became a single mom, I was a youth leader.
Wow.
I was teaching the youth to abstain from this and don't do that and all of those other things. And all of a sudden, this woman who's leading these youth became pregnant out of wedlock.
Right.
And that was something that I beat myself up for many, many years, because not only did I feel like I let myself down, I felt like I let my youth down.
Right.
And some of those same youth, I am still connected with a lot of those youth that I led way back then, and they are doing phenomenally.
Wonderful.
But part of that journey for me was getting to a point where I had to forgive myself for the mistakes I made. That's one of those things that I encountered where, just like you were saying, you see stuff in yourself and you go, yeah, I don't particularly like what I see.
Right.
So what are we going to do about that?
Right.
We're going to forgive ourselves. We're going to receive forgiveness, and we're going to move on. Wonderful. And it doesn't mean that mistakes didn't happen. It just meant that they happen, but there's life after that.
Absolutely.
And, I don't consider my daughter a mistake.
Right.
Never.
Absolutely not right.
And what I said to her, my husband came along when she was about 10 years old. We've been married for almost 22 years now.
Congratulations on that.
You.
Right.
And my daughter and I just recently had this conversation because she just had her second child a few months ago. Her and her husband just had their second child. And both of her children had some physical illnesses at birth. And she was feeling some guilt about it. And I told her, I said, she began to delve into her biological family history, which caused some of these illnesses to come along. And I told her, I said, you have no guilt, no shame about who you are, because you were destined and purposed to be in the earth at the time that you're here.
Right. And that is so important that you said that, because I think we get to a place where either we accept being, being in a place that we're stuck and that we're not moving forward. And we just have to know that there is purpose. I know you, and of course, no, this is not church and this is not a religion, but I think in anything, in business, there is purpose. And life in general, there is purpose. When we go out and we work with people in community, that is what we're doing. We're building up this trust with them so that they understand that there is purpose. Now, I am here. I'll help you walk. But at some point, just like a kid on a bike with training wheels, I'm going to let you go. And once I let you go, you're going to have to pedal this thing and move on by yourself. So 100%. I think that is so wonderful. So
let me just say this too, now that you said that.
Absolutely.
One of the other programs that we offer under the Oasis Empowerment Zone is a Young Mothers Mentoring Program.
It's called
Why Mentor.
Why Mentor.
And Why Mentor stands for Young Mothers Educational Network for Teaching, Outreach, and Resources.
Okay.
And one of the principles of Why Mentor, when I train mentors to walk with these young ladies, and it's for young mothers between the ages of 12 and 25, and I have other mothers over the age of 25 to come and say, I need a mentor too. Can you help me?
Right.
Absolutely, we can. But one of the things that I teach the mentors as I'm training them is that the first thing you have to do is do things for the client or do things for them.
Oh, I like to hear that.
Then you do things with them.
Yes.
Then you push them out of the nest like a bird, and then you cheer them on.
Right.
So you first of all have to show them how to do what it is that they need to do.
Right.
Then you walk alongside them so that if they have any questions or any of those things, they can actually turn to you and say, well, I've encountered this. What do I do about this?
Wow.
And then you help them to process through it. You coach them through it. You don't always say, well, do this, do that, because then it becomes your process.
Right. That's right.
You give them the tools that are necessary by saying, how do you think you'll get the most effective results? What do you think you should do to succeed in this area? And then if their thinking is not necessarily effective thinking, you kind of help redirect them.
All right.
You never tell somebody, well, do it this way, do it that way, do it, because you want them to develop their own muscle, their own mechanisms for success. And so as you're coaching them, then they are learning how to handle things the next time a difficulty comes.
Right.
Well, I tried it this way last time. This was the success I got. Let me see if this will work.
Right.
The other thing is, in the mentoring relationship, they're developing lifelong relationships so that just like those youth that I still have contact with from way back, my daughter's 32.
All right.
So she'll be 33 next month.
Okay.
And so 33 years ago, those youth that I was working with then, some of them are married, successful, some of them are grandparents,
all right,
the whole 9 yards. They can look back and say, they can still call me and say, hey, I got this situation. Do you have any resources for that? And like I said, it's a muscle that they develop so that when controversy or crisis or chaos or whatever show up in their life, they have some tools that they can go into their toolbox and say, hey, this hammer may not work this time. Let me try the screwdriver.
Wow, that is wonderful. Got a question, because everything that you are saying is so great and so wonderful and so much needed in our communities. If I'm listening this evening and I want to volunteer, what role does a volunteer have in some of the work that you're doing? And if I feel like, yes, this is for me, how do I get in touch with you? What's the process to become a volunteer, to give back, to be that mentor in some way to someone else in community?
Call me.
Okay.
We can talk about it. We can talk about what it is that you want to bring to the table.
Okay.
I honestly don't have a list of volunteers that I recruit for, other than mentors.
Okay.
And they're, the qualifications for being a mentor are relatively relaxed. Of course, I don't want to put anybody in a situation where they'll be in harm's way or any of those things. So I do conduct background checks and those types
Wonderful
of
to hear.
things.
Right.
I do put the mentor specifically with OASIS through a very rigorous one whole day training.
Okay.
And a lot of the training, because I've written all of the curriculum myself based on my years of experience in social services.
Okay.
And what I found to be needed for those clients. Okay. And so if there's someone in any of the programs, whether it's the Performing Arts Center, whether it's the OASIS, those are the nonprofit organizations that I do accept volunteers for. They can call me and see what they have to offer. There may be somebody out there that says, you know what, I'm a phenomenal guitar player and I got some extra time, so I want to volunteer for this nonprofit organization.
Wonderful.
More than welcome to come in, do an audition. Of course, my husband, who is the master instructor, he conducts all of the assessments and those types of things.
Okay. Well, you know what? Now we know volunteers are needed and welcome, but we also know, and I want to go back to this, that we can't do this work that we do without some money. Money got to move things along. Money will help us to get the things that we need. So if I am listening and I'm interested and I got a little money in my pocket and I want to be able to support the work that you are doing, how would you want people to connect with you to do that? What are some ways that people can give to what you're doing?
Well, they can actually go to either one of our websites, whether it's if they're interested in donating towards things that are going to help single mothers, they can go to the website at www.oasisempowermentzone, hit that donate button, put in your $1 million donation.
All right now.
And we will definitely receive it because we need it.
Yeah, I know when you receive it, give me a call.
Absolutely. And then maybe I can get a salary.
There you go. There you go. You can get a salary. So
yes, and the same for the Lansing Performing Arts Center. I will double check. I do believe that we have a donate button on the Lansing Performing Arts Center. Okay. But if we don't, we still accept old-fashioned checks as long as they're not rubbery.
Okay.
We accept cash donations. We accept
no rubbery checks now.
No rubbery checks. But yes, and if the donate button is not on there, it will be by the end of tonight.
Okay, wonderful. So let me ask you this. The one thing in any of the partners organizations that we have on our show, I always want listeners to understand, and yes, these are great resources, but I want them to attach it to something real. So can you talk about a success story with somebody that you've worked with, like they started here and this is where they are now?
Yes. I have success stories going way back to when we were just doing those conference calls on Tuesday nights.
Okay.
I've had women who have started, that was years before the GWBI, women who have, just because they got some muscle to say, I can catch my breath. Women who have gone back to school, gotten degrees.
Wonderful.
I've had even staff people who worked for me with the state of Illinois who were already well employed, but were in kind of entry-level jobs, who connected with our Oasis Empowerment Zone conference calls. And I said, you know what? You don't have to be a clerical the rest of your life.
All right.
And went back to school, got bachelor's degree, master's degrees, and started their own. One of them started their own counseling agency.
Wow.
And as recently as the last few years, I've had women who have gone back to school, women who have gotten promotions on their job just as a result of being able to catch their breath.
Wow, wonderful. I know we were in a boot camp, an intensive boot camp, and one of the presenters who happens to be a coach along with you, said that, and before you get to that yes, you have to be able to hear 100 no's.
Yes.
Can you really dive into that? Because I think people get to a place now where if we don't get it quickly, then we get discouraged. If we don't see it tomorrow, then we get discouraged. If we come and take a music lesson, if we're not Mozart in a week, then we get discouraged. So can you talk to people about just that mindset and how that mindset plays in the work that you're doing with people, and why that having that positive mindset is important?
Yes.
So to the success of people that you're working with.
Yes. And you know what? It's something that I say all the time too. You may hear 100 no's, but all it takes is one right yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
And so we do live in a microwave society. We want everything to happen fast, but as the old saying used to go, Rome wasn't built in a day.
This is true.
I would rather have a cake that was baked at a 350-degree oven than a cake that was in the microwave.
I
because
agree,
it have a
100%.
tendency to taste a lot better.
That's right.
Because the process was solid.
Right.
The process was good.
Right.
And so, yes, we do want some things to happen yesterday.
Right.
But we also have to understand that if you take the time to go through the process, I've heard so many no's in my life that people would think that I'm crazy. And they say, and you keep doing it.
Right.
You gave me the most wonderful compliment, and you probably don't even realize it. This was several months ago. I don't know. I can't even remember what we were talking about. And you said, wow, Dr. Powell, you're still doing this organization almost 15 years later.
Yeah.
And you've had no funding.
Yeah. That is unbelievable. Yes.
You even went into a lot of organizations after the funding dries up.
They're done. That's right.
And so, I popped my collar after that.
You should.
And days when things are hard, when I want to say no, when I want to throw in the towel,
correct,
when I want to say, I remember what you said, because it's not always about the money. Have my growth been a lot slower than some other organizations who have hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars, or even thousands of dollars?
Right.
Yes, it's been a lot slower,
right,
but it has not stopped, because I'm not in it just for the money. I'm in it to see lives change, lives enhanced, and women get their groove back.
Right. And I think, that is so important. Sometimes I think we see organizations that have the ability to get money, they pop up, they do some wonderful things, the funding dries up, and they're gone.
Yeah.
But what you're saying is that I'm committed. Longevity. I am committed to the work that I do, whether I have a salary or not, I'm committed. And I think that's what really builds trust between you and the people that you're working with. That's why you have people that, 33 years that are still in contact with you, because they see that you are committed. And I think that's the one thing that you've coached me on personally, is that, if this is something that you believe in, stay committed to it. No matter what the journey is, there are going to be some hard times. There may be some tears. There may be some times where you just want to quit and run, but you have to stay committed. And so I want people listening tonight, I know you've heard that, they hear that all the time, all of these various words and these statements and these logos and all of this stuff that they hear, these words of encouragement. But I think you are a living testimony of, if you stay committed to something, you're going to change lives. And you know what? I think if I was to ask you, I'm going to ask you this question. If you had an opportunity to get a quick $1 million to change 500 lives, or to take no money and change 5,000 lives, what would you do? And I'm pretty sure I know, the answer. Yeah.
Yes.
So we have a little bit of time left. So I would love for you just to tell our listeners if you have any upcoming events, or if there's something that's happening with the work that you're doing that you want people to know about, so they can get connected. I think the best thing is to come out and meet you, and to see you someplace and understand your spirit and the work that you do. So are there any upcoming events or anything that you want us to be aware of?
Well, and we're in the process of getting our students ready for our winter recital at the Performing Arts Center.
Wonderful.
We just had our summer recital. And the phenomenal success of some of these students. And I kind of made a joke with one of our students who's actually going back into the studio to record. She had recorded a CD a while back, and it was not successful at all. And so the person that produced the CD sent her to my husband for vocal lessons. And this girl didn't know her diaphragm, which is this part of your body that you sing from. She didn't know her diaphragm from her pinky toe.
Okay.
And when her family came and heard her sing on that stage, there was not a dry eye in the place.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful.
And so the other thing, my husband had an idea to do a music camp this summer.
Okay.
And, he kind of expected to get a lot of novice students that, just, he called it an exploratory camp where they can come in and test out instruments to see if they had any musical aptitude and all of that.
Right.
Well, there were, we had 8 young men that ranged in age from, I think the youngest was 5.
Oh,
and the oldest was, my son kind of helped as a volunteer, but 15 was the oldest.
Okay.
And some of them had some musical aptitude because they had taken lessons in the past. But what he did was, instead of starting a beginner's music camp, he flipped on a dime and created a band.
Wow.
Because of those that had some, I think maybe 4 out of the 8 had some musical knowledge. The other 4 didn't.
Okay.
And then, of course, my son, who was the extra, he did have some musical knowledge.
Okay.
So he decided that, you know what? We've got too much substance here to just go through these things, because number one, those that had musical aptitude would be bored.
Right.
But the others would, they would kind of be drug along. So he taught. He put them together and they created a band. Wow. They wrote a song. And after a 2-week, which was really only 8 days, after an 8-day camp, performed for their parents on the last day.
That is so wonderful.
And so, those are the types of things that we're doing.
Okay.
We are allowing students to, and this is just the Lansing Performing Arts Center, of course. We're allowing students to live their dreams.
Wow.
We're allowing students, and some of those students have come back and said, yeah, I already do this, but I want some more. We actually have a couple of parents who, as a result of that, said, can I learn how to sing?
Right.
And so we actually have, I think, 2 parents out of the students that were part of our summer camp that are now students.
Wow, wonderful. And now we're talking about art. So we know our generation, our younger generation, they may see art a little bit different than we do. So what about, I know you talked about the recording studio. So what about hip hop? So I'm a young person. I'm out here. I have this aptitude for hip hop. I think I got bars and I want to go out there and I want to put them on record or wax or whatever they do. Is that welcome for them to come?
Yes,
wow, wonderful,
yes.
wonderful.
The only thing is we're not a faith-based school, but we are faith-based people.
Okay.
And so, of course, we don't want the cursing and all of those things. But if you got some beats, come on and drop a beat with us. All right. Yes. Our studio engineers are ready for you. They, come on in and drop a beat and get you some wax. Well, wax is back in our day.
Definitely back in our day. What do they put in? It's digital now.
Digital now.
Right.
The EPs and all of that stuff.
Wow.
Get you, go on the streaming service and all of that.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
So we got a couple of minutes left. So now I just want to, as I do with any of our guests, I want to kind of step back and give you an opportunity to really just speak to our viewers tonight and our listeners to let them know, like, this is what you do and why they should connect with you. And just to give them that encouragement as a coach and just as a person that works in this field and has had these life experiences to really help them through. So once they end this program, they have something that's on their mind that they made to think about. And once they think about it, they should probably give you a call.
Yeah. As you can see, as I said, we operate 4 different businesses and we touch primarily every aspect of life. And so because we've had this life journey and because we've worked through things to create these life journeys, we want people to know that there's something available for you, number one.
All right.
And if we can't help you, we're not selfish.
Right.
We have a network of people that we work with.
Important, yes.
That provide a variety of different services. Yes, I am a counselor, but I don't do all things mental health.
Right.
We have other organizations that we can refer you to, that we can connect you with.
Right.
We are a music school, but we're not all things music.
Right.
You know, we may not be somebody's cup of tea.
Absolutely.
We're more than happy to connect you with some of our other network partners who also run music schools in different areas.
Wow, wonderful to hear.
We are marriage coaches, but we can't coach everybody.
Right.
So we are more than happy to connect you with one of our network of marital coaches.
Wonderful.
And so we're here for you. If we can't help you, we can get you to the place where you can get help.
No, I think that is so great. And I think that's unselfish. And I think that's what really sets you apart from a lot of other organizations. It's just not about you, but it's about actually making sure that whomever you deal with, they walk away having a dignified experience, that they feel as if no matter what walk of life they come from, that they are heard and that you provide them whatever resources you can provide. No, none of us can help everybody.
Right.
But you know what? We should develop a network. And that's what the Blue Island Robbins Neighborhood Network is a network of partners who can we can refer people to, like, if it's something that you need, if there's a place that you need to be in life, hopefully we can connect you to somebody that's going to be able to help you. But the one thing that you said is you got to have that I can inside of you and get rid of that T. Get rid of that T and have that I can. So we thank you, Dr. Powell, for your time. Thank you for sharing with us. Once again, before we go, give them your telephone number and your website so that they can connect with you.
Yes, I give you a couple of different opportunities to connect with me. You can connect with me at either oasisempowermentzone.com. That's my website for the Oasis. Or you can connect with me at rubyepowell.com. That's the Dr. Ruby E. Powell and Associates. Or you can connect with me at lansingpac.org for our music school. You can also connect with us at theblamegame.us for the marriage counseling and premarital, marital, and marriage in crisis coaching.
Wow. Thank you so much. That's it for us tonight. Tune in next week as we hope to bring another partner who will share resources with you that will really help you to shape and change your life. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to the BIRNN Community Chronicles. Catch us next Tuesday and every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central.